Hello, and welcome to the Takarazuka Fan Podcast, a podcast where Zuka fans get together and talk and squee about Takarazuka. This is Julie in Arizona, and with us today we have...
Jen in New York.
Kitty.
And Kate.
Who are out in the ether somewhere. We don't know where they are. No worries.
I am in Versailles.
You're in Versailles.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Always.
I mean, it's true. But yeah, today we're going to talk about reviews, what kinds of things we like in reviews, and scenes and things like that. We got some feedback that we talk a lot about plays, but not a lot about the review half of Takarazuka performances. So we're going to do that. Before we do that, does anybody have a happy things? We didn't actually discuss this beforehand.
I do.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you go on.
For it.
Let's do it in order. So let's go with... Yeah, no, you start.
Yeah. My happy thing is that I got to watch Flying Sappa and the Magnificent Emperor through the magic of the internet and using a VPN to spoof my IP address as if though I was in Japan.
Yes.
So that I can give Rakuten and Takarazuka my money.
Money,
you know?
yep.
It's like, it seems shady, but actually, I'm just trying to give the company my money. So,
Right.
literally the Futurama gif, take my money. Shut up and take my money. Flying Sappa is 1200 out of 10. It's so good, you guys. I'm in the midst of writing a massive summary for the wiki that is like 1,800 words already, and it's only Act 1. It's only Act 1, so we'll see what happens. Magnificent Emperor was also good. It was mostly just pretty. Strangely enough, I felt like it wasn't very dramatic, which is strange for Takarazuka, but maybe on a second viewing I'll form different opinions. But yeah, that's my happy thing.
Now, a lot of people were saying that they thought the Magnificent Emperor was going to be based on that
drama.
The drama from Turkey or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Did you end up watching that drama? Did you see any similarities?
A lot of it. And it's a soap opera, you know, each episode is an hour and a half. And so it's just padded with endless stupid decisions that people make in order to create drama. And that was very frustrating. But at least it was very dramatic. And then on the flip side, Magnificent Emperor followed a lot of the highlights of Suleiman the Magnificent's life. Yeah, it followed a lot of his life, but strangely, I felt like there was places where they could have built up dramatic tension where they didn't.
Huh. They were going for the anti-drama.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened. But yeah, like I said, I'll give it a second viewing, and we'll see if my opinions change at all. Maybe I'll kind of get a deeper feeling for the characters and the actors and how they were characterizing those historical figures.
Nice.
Jen, did you have a happy thing?
I actually, I'm going to skip it because I know we're on a time limit, and if anybody else has something happy to talk about, I'll let them.
Kitty?
Let me think. Well, my not happy thing is that I put off my work in Japan until next year, but this means that now I'm working on like 3 million translation projects.
Huzzah!
So I just finished going through Anan Kei's autobiography.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's incredible.
We need more translations and...
Right, the theme of quarantine, the theme of the pandemic is, welp, can't go anywhere, so may as well do a bunch of translations.
Always good for the fandom, for us.
Yes,
lowly souls who can't speak the language. Just give me that Takarazuka juice.
Please. Kate, did you have a happy thing?
Yeah, so my happy thing was that I actually managed to drag a non-Zuka fan into Zuka.
Huzzah!
Always a fun thing. So I managed to drag one of my friends who's like really into Broadway musicals. Yeah. And I was like, you're missing out. And then I showed them the only Zuka show that I know of that has like freaking English subtitles, which is Passage Hikari Furu. And they loved it. So I was like, yes, I'm so proud of this.
So that's
it was so good.
Daimon's Grand Theater debut, right?
Debut, that one.
Through the Light, Maximilian Robespierre.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's, pretty good.
It's amazing. Sorry, I stand
enthuse.
It's so good. It's like probably one of my favorite, definitely one of my favorite, probably my favorite Takarazuka musical. It's so good. Anyway.
Okay, you mentioned before, you like the chorus numbers in that one, don't you? Didn't you tell me you like the singing in that one?
I feel like Wildhorn is really good, not only at doing the like stand and sing solo numbers, but also the big group numbers where like everybody's like
the
whatever.
Conflicts theme is so good, and they used it like at the start, at the middle, and in the end, and the whole thematic. Oh, it's just so good. Sorry.
I'm glad. Lately I've been a little bit eye roll. French Revolution's been to death. They've done it every single angle they could possibly do. So I might need to take a few more months before I sit down and watch that one, because I watched Azure Moment recently, and even Azure Moment brought in French Revolution in a way that I thought was totally unnecessary, and they didn't need to take that direction in the story at all. They could have completely left that out. I won't go on a rant, but like I was like, I'm so sick of French Revolution.
I know.
But anyway, I'm glad you're indoctrinating a new person. That's fantastic. Yes. I always approve of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, we're going to really high-level touch on news, bullet points, and then we'll get into our main topic. News I can think of off the top of my head is Jun Hana, because it revolves around Soragumi. Jun Hana's transfer date has been pushed back to mid-September. Because they had to cancel and reschedule Fiery Bolero a couple of times.
Of course, yeah.
So because Fiery Bolero, which is not a tour anymore, it's at Umeda Main Hall, I think. Once that's finished, then she will transfer, which will be mid-September. And I think Ray, Dazzling Valley of Xuanyao, and Ray opened again, but I heard the Shinko was just completely canceled, which is a huge bummer.
Yeah. Is it reopened? I think it's still, they keep pushing it back.
No, it's reopened because Nanami Hiroki just watched it.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good news. I mean, it's good news, but...
Oh, sorry. I think it's Haikata that hasn't reopened yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still waiting on them.
Oh, I said Fiery Bolero was middle of September, but it's like 2 weeks from now. It runs until September 6th. So Jun Hana will transfer on September 7th. And yeah, the all of the dinner shows and Music Salon, which is just a dinner show for Musume Yaku, will be live streamed instead of being performed with an audience. And, I was talking about it with a friend. I completely understand the logistics of like having a bunch of people sitting around a dinner table and eating, and like it's a huge, a hotspot waiting to happen. So it makes sense that they're going to do a live stream instead. Although it's still, kind of sucks for the performers because they don't get to interact with the audience, and that's sort of where they get their energy from.
Yeah. I was like shocked when they added Ayanagi Show's dinner show to the schedule, like a month or so ago. I was like, what? Why are they adding dinner shows?
Yeah, she's not a top star or even an Ibante. She's like Sambante.
I am so worried. Awesome. I'm so worried about the placement of that dinner show.
I feel like just logistically, if it was a bad sign, it would have been announced 6 months ago.
Not for a non-top star.
No, because dinner shows usually
Because the
whole timeline is so weird.
Yes, it's very confusing. Yukigumi performances haven't ended yet. So until they end and until they start rehearsals for Fortissimo, that's when we'll know if Show's retiring. Because that's when
I mean, if the dinner show specifically was a bad sign, we would have known it was happening before the original schedule of Fortissimo. So it would have been announced in April.
Maybe, but I mean, people may be, sitting at home having quarantined and changed their mind about things.
Yeah, I think they just need money. And figured, because a dinner show runs 3 days, so it's not long enough for anybody to catch it and get tested and get shut down.
Yeah, but they're like $250 a pop. They're expensive. So I don't know how much the live stream's going to be, but usually dinner shows are a moneymaker because they're more expensive because they're paying for dinner and a show.
Yeah, the dinner show is actually, the live stream of the dinner shows is actually much cheaper. But
I would expect so.
Since they can get like
way
several
more
thousand people, it probably is going to still add up to more.
You know what? The other thing I was going to say is sometimes when they give somebody a dinner show, it's just because they don't have a good spot for them for whatever small theater they want to do. So they're like, okay, show, we don't have a good thing for you to do right now, so have a dinner show.
I really hope it's that. I really hope it's that.
So sometimes it's just that.
I just, show has to be Saki's Nibante, and I just live for their dynamic. Yeah. I cannot not see them on screen. Sorry.
I'm down. I definitely was chatting with some friends about, with all of the craziness, maybe we'll have a big shakeup where a bunch of transfers are announced, because people have reevaluated things during quarantine, but it's sort of like a fear/hope. I think Jen and I both, at this point, we sort of just like transfers because it shakes things up and makes things interesting, and maybe that's not everybody's perspective. I forgot to put this disclaimer beforehand, but this news will be a little out of date by the time this podcast gets actually put out on the air, but we'll put a show notes or whatever. We'll put something on the blog as well. But yeah, before we get to, we don't have a ton of time, so let's talk about reviews. We had mentioned that we might want to just touch on some vocabulary things, but I think rather than front-loading with a bunch of vocabulary, let's just start talking, and I'll stop us when we want to chime in about a piece of vocab and what it means.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, Kate, why don't you tell us, what do you like about reviews?
Oh boy, I'm probably not the best person to start with because reviews was the last thing that I got used to almost with Takarazuka. It always seemed like a kind of a slightly weird thing to me. I always enjoyed the duet dances because, who doesn't love a good, sappy, cute dance with cute music? I think, because I'm such a big fan of the current Yukigumi, and for me, reviews are just kind of there to break up the sadness of the main musical.
They've done Karikuru and Phantom and
Arc de Triomphe and every single one of them.
Oh no, but Arc de Triomphe is a one act. It went with Gato Bonito.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about ones that didn't have it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, one where it's a ippomono. It's all one.
Yeah, no, so that's
story.
just Phantom. Mm-hmm. And anyway. The other Japanese one. So yeah, you have to have a review after, especially with the new one with Music Revolution, and I forgot the name of the musical that comes before it. But the Nihonmo no, where it's super duper sad. And
is that
I feel
when the last sword is drawn?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, reviews for me are just to wipe away your tears and actually look at something fun. Not saying that musicals aren't fun, but they're just so good but so depressing.
So does Music Revolution perk you up afterwards, and is there something in particular that
Oh,
you like
yeah,
about it?
no, it starts immediately with this, like, super flashy, like, literally, because their costumes are so shiny. And it's just, I love it. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I definitely get what you're saying, that, like, I came to reviews a little bit late as well in my entire fan career, simply because, like, a bunch of the DVDs that I bought, I saw Never Say Goodbye Live. I had Rose of Versailles 2001 Soragumi. I had Phantom Soragumi. I had Soragumi Elizabeth 1998. And then the only DVD that I had bought that had a review was A Kiss to the Flames Nail Voyage. But I actually love Nail Voyage. But because the first thing I ever saw was Rose of Versailles, I didn't get the structure yet, and I did not understand why they literally have Marie Antoinette going off to her death and then immediately bring in the Roquette. It made me so mad. I was like, I can't, this is too jarring, you know?
That is a weird transition. But if they ever get mad, if they ever get rid of it, I'm gonna revolt because they've been doing it for 50 years.
The Rockettes are still slightly weird to me. I still skip over them occasionally. Well, most of the time when I watch any review, they're there, but you know.
Sure. I mean, so I was gonna say, because I work in software, just because this is the way we've always done something doesn't mean we should always do it this way, is kind of something I point to a lot, not just in my job, but in life. But I like Rockettes nowadays because I like watching babies, and I like looking out for the little kids. Kitty, what do you like about reviews?
So I also didn't used to watch reviews for a while, but that's because I'm extremely face blind.
Oh,
so when I was just having, especially early on, I was like, "You changed your wig and you're a different person now. I don't know what's happening."
That's so true.
But now I really like them, especially like. Reviews now, they're, like, really slick and polished and, like, professional and stuff. I like a lot of the, like, mid-2000s, 80s reviews where some of them are extremely professional and beautifully done and whatever, but then there's also the ones where it's just like, okay, so now the top star is Pippi Longstocking because why not?
Reason. Amazing.
But yeah, I like both the extremely silly stuff, but also the like very, very
polished stuff,
elegant, classic 80s style.
Oh yeah.
That some people still do.
How would you characterize the classic 80s style?
Like, the classic 80s style is, like, very, like, orchestral and focuses on, like, a lot of, like, emotional stuff, and also tends to have a very genuinely trying to reference French reviews look in spots. Like, the main person doing that now is Sakai Sumio, who I suspect may have created his last review last year for Benny's retirement.
Doesn't he always just do Tom's dinner shows?
He mainly does dinner shows now, yeah. All of his Grand Theater shows for like 10 years, he's done like 4 Grand Theater shows. They were all Hoshigumi. So I think he just likes
Benny.
Specifically Hoshigumi and possibly specifically Benny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I don't know if he's going to do another review, and I'm going to save my opinions of Eclair Brilliant until I get further into the episode. But yeah.
All right. Jen, what do you like about reviews?
Well, I also want to throw out here for people who are interested in reviews, Kate and I, the last episode that we published which will be episode 49, which was our like comfort and distraction episode. We talked a little bit about what we like about reviews and a couple of our favorite reviews in there too. So check that episode out if you're interested. But I think for me, like the reviews that I really saw a lot of during my like heavy days of like consumption fandom were from the 90s. And 90s reviews are just a lot of fun, I think. Like, you got those big boxy, like, some of you were probably not even born in the 90s, but for those of us who were, remember, like, all the women's office jackets, you know, or always they had the padded shoulders. I remember those. I had so many of those as a teenager. I like all the otokoyaku wore those. Especially in like whenever they were wearing suits and stuff.
Really big ones too.
Yes, like
and you can see that reflected. You can see that reflected in the manga and anime of the time as well.
Yeah.
But like characters would have huge shoulders, like absurdly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huge square shoulders.
Yeah. I think for when I was just getting into fandom, reviews were like a great way to get to know the stars, like the top stars and also kind of the up and coming stars, because there's always that like little bridge number where the like up and coming young stars come out and do like whatever the cool music of the time is. They'll do that. So nowadays it's kind of like rap and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much
but back
always.
then it was like, you know, K-pop now, yeah. Back then I think it was like beatboxing and stuff, you know, whatever was cool in the 90s. So like
Never forget Millennium Challenger 2000, where they literally created their own hip-hop song specifically for Yoka, and she released it as a singlet. It was so cheesy.
Yeah.
So cheesy. But like the it's exactly like the hip-hop dancing that they're trying to emulate of like the 90s is so freaking funny to watch. I love them. I say funny in the most loving and endearing way possible. I love reviews lately because they are my comfort food. You can just put a review on in the background and it's mostly like pumps you up and, you know, it's just like good catchy music to play in the background while you're like doing your homework or whatever. And yeah, it showcases a lot of different people, whereas with a play, sometimes it's pretty much just like the top star and the top musumeyaku and maybe the nibante, and then everybody else's roles are just like forgettable. But in a review, they really mix it up a lot, and they have like little spots for lots of different people to showcase their talents, whether it's dancing or singing. I love dancing. I love just watching people who are really good dancers. So I always love watching reviews to pick out who's really talented at singing or dancing.
And I think for me, like most of the live theater that I saw was when I lived in Gunma Prefecture. So I'd be going to the Tokyo theater, and I would always do like day of standing tickets. And in the Tokyo theater, they're in the back of the balcony. And that was great view for the dance numbers in the review shows. So I actually I loved those seats more than like sitting on the first floor, because then you could really see the choreography.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a trade-off, because when you're a Takarazuka fan, a lot of the consumption is wanting to see pretty people's faces. And if you only have wide shots on the DVDs, then you can't see their faces. But at the same time, it's great to see a wide shot where you can literally just, like you said, appreciate the dancing. So there's good points to both, which is why sometimes it's really nice to have both like an NHK recording and a DVD recording, like with Aquavite, because then you can see a couple different angles of the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's bring it back around to Kate. What kinds of scenes do you like in reviews? Do you have any types of scenes, and also if you have any specific examples of things that you like in particular from any review?
Ooh. Oh, that's a hard question. Does someone want to go first? Does someone that has anything that particularly pops to mind? I'm just trying to think. What type do I like?
I mean, I can go if nobody else has something.
Yeah, go on.
I like story reviews. You know, I like reviews where the whole thing has like a cohesive story, at least something, you know, of like a a theme when a review is called, let's say, Golden Jazz, and then the opening number is jazz, and then literally nothing else is jazz. Tuxedo Jazz. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to rat out Masaki specifically. I just mean, like, so many times they call Rock On from Mizu. The first opening number is rock, and then everything else is just anything goes, you know? But when you point to something like Sora Fantasista, which is just my gold standard favorite review of all time, it has a very cohesive, we start out with the Big Bang, the birth of the universe, and we go through all the planets, and, you know, the main character of Tani has kind of a journey that he goes through where he sort of, you know, ascends at the end, and it's really nice. I like that. But as for...
You know what? Before you go on, I'm going to jump on that because I think another good example is Mahoroba.
Oh, I was just going to...
Moon Troop did.
I had that one in my head to bring up later, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, that one's kind of fun because if you haven't read, like, I took a Japanese literature course and we spent a while, like, reading in translation the oldest, mythology of Japan, and that's kind of what Mahoroba is. It kind of takes you through the creation of the country and all the gods and goddesses and stuff. So I really liked Mahoroba. I wouldn't say that it had a huge story, but
it's like scenes from the Kojiki, or if you're a student of Japanese or Japanese culture, the Kojiki and the Nihon Shoki are like some of the oldest pieces of literature from Japan. So it's sort of like a book of Greek mythology or a book of, you know, mythology of X country. So yeah, like you said, Mahoroba doesn't necessarily have exactly a story, but at the same time, it's scenes from these great heroes and great myths. So it's it flows for sure, and it's very beautiful. Castle of the White Heron has very much a woven story throughout of, you know, Abe no Seimei, or reincarnations of this mystic exorcist type guy chasing this fox spirit woman through various reincarnations and trying to seal her, you know, bind her, and so that she can't terrorize the world or whatever. And it's so beautiful, you guys. I can't recommend White Heron enough. It's great. But we got off track. I was like, what kind of reviews do I like, rather than what kind of scenes from reviews I like. To be honest, I do like boy band numbers, like those, oh, we're doing K-pop now, you know?
I was about to say that, yeah.
I like that stuff. I know it's just pandering, but it's always, like you said, like the younger members of the troupe getting to shine a little bit, and it's just, it pumps you up. You know, it's catchy music, and it feels modern, and it pumps you up. But even within a review, whether it has a story or not, I really like story dances. Like in... Kitty, you mentioned Éclair Brillant. Even though Éclair as a whole is not my favorite, I really like the number where Koto is a wind spirit, and Mai Sora
that one
loses
is so
her
beautiful.
hat. It's so sweet, isn't it? It's so sweet. And
the music's really nice.
Yes, it's so good.
Koto and Mai Sora are both brilliant dancers, and they used that scene to showcase their dancing, and it's very cute, and it has that, you know, like Puck or like any kind of story where it's like somebody who's sort of a fey, ethereal creature falling in love with a human, and like, oh, we can't be together. So sad. But yeah, I've talked enough. Kate, did you think of anything?
So I was just about to say, when you mentioned the boy bands number, I thought about that one scene in Super Voyager, where I think it was Ayanagi Sho and Asami Jun, and they sang this anime song, I think, dressed in those shiny, like, boy band clothes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that, and I said to myself, oh, this is so stupid, and ended up going back to watch it 3 more times.
Exactly. You know it's silly, and you know it's pandering, but you're like, give me all that junk food.
And just thinking about how I don't think any of the reviews I've watched have that kind of story threading through the entire review, other than Baddie, which is like kind of a thing on its own. Let's not talk about Baddie because
we could have a whole episode about Baddie.
probably. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was going to say, I actually kind of like Killer Rouge. Even though it's a mess and loud and just wow, it's just so much fun. I feel like you see, I love the current Yukigumi, but since the top couple are both, singing types and they don't dance that much, their reviews aren't as fun. So I wouldn't put one on to like cheer me up. I might put it on to listen to the songs, but if I needed something to really cheer me up, or if I needed something to play in the background while I like tidied my room, it would be Killer Rouge, because it's just so out there and everything is either funny or loud, or it's just great. I love Hoshigumi, and they do such good reviews just because of what kind of people they are, I think.
Have you seen Estrellas?
I don't understand.
I think I watched half of it or something. Is that the one with the... No, I'm thinking about the wrong one. Is that the one where they had the Kuroembi at the end with that song?
That song, yep.
I'm not making sense here. But yeah, you were going to say?
Estrellas. I think Estrellas is like the #1 Benny Gumi review for me.
Really?
It's just comfort food. It has a lot of recognizable pop songs. So, you get to hear fun, upbeat songs, but also sung by stars that you really like. Because I really like Benny and her era of Hoshigumi.
Same.
And just like another thing that I judge a review by is like, how many times do they wear costumes that I hate? And every time is like a tick, and Estrellas like has no bad costumes, it's just good for me. And that's a matter of opinion, obviously. I don't like it when they wear 16 different colors that clash. And I don't like it when they wear hideous ruffles from the 70s and 80s.
Ruffles.
Some people like ruffle hell, I guess, but it's not my jam, so.
I don't think anyone actually likes them. We just tolerate them.
People do, I think. Maybe those fans who literally are from the 70s.
It's kind of endearing when it's not overdone.
Raising my hand here.
Like, I'll go with it up to a point because they're enjoying themselves.
Yes. All right, Jen, tell us about Ruffle Hell.
I love the Ruffles from the 60s and 70s. I think that's when they really started. Mm-hmm. But because Nova Bossa Nova, which I'm not going to get into here, but like...
Oh. Another one we could do a whole episode about.
They tend to come with the Spanish type music, and so you get those kind of costumes like in Appassionato and Nova Bossa Nova. Like, they just tend to be ones where the otokoyaku are acting pretty damn sexy. Mm-hmm. So I will take them.
I think they have more of a Brazilian flavor, like what is that?
Yeah,
not Carnival. Is it Carnival?
Like Latin
in Rio?
Hispanic.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what the what is the word I'm trying to think of? Like the inspiration of those.
Yeah, they did a lot of reviews with that kind of Carnival theme, especially in the 70s. So, but can I, and I know Kitty hasn't had a chance to go, but can I give you a couple more? Mm-hmm. One I'm just going to touch on, and we can come back to it later if anybody wants to, but the kind of reviews that turn me off completely and that I absolutely hate are the chanson reviews, the ones with like the croony French numbers.
Literally every romantic review by Okada Keiji. Almost all of them I don't like.
So chanson reviews, no. I love the off-the-wall reviews.
Yeah,
the ones that have,
ones.
like, the monster and the vampire kind of numbers. So, like, I'm thinking, like, Blue Moon Blue, Misty Station. Like, I think Moon Troop did a lot of them in, like, the early 2000s. Kind of those kind of shows.
I don't remember Misty Station very well. I think I watched it. But Blue Moon Blue and Appassionato has a vampire number as well.
Yeah, they tend to be a lot of, like, I think a lot of those tend to have, and I'm not a dancer, like, I never took dance as a little girl, so I could be way off base, but I think it tends to be more like a modern dance numbers tend to be in those kind of reviews, so.
Yeah, what you said made
Oh, actually, can I just mention one thing as well?
Please.
Have any of you watched both Super Voyager with Nozomi Futo and The Entertainer with Hokusho Kairi?
I love The Entertainer, and I've watched Super Voyager, but only once, so I don't remember it as well.
Okay, so I was going to say, like, opening songs are most of the times at least fun. They might not be good, but they're at least fun. But can we just talk about the opening songs of those two reviews? They are super by the number. They go, you can play them, and they will probably sync up. Does anyone get that?
Oh my gosh, Fuji Daisuke reviews, okay? Fuji Daisuke reviews. I was having Aquavite stuck in my head and Nice Guy stuck in my head at the same time because they sound exactly the same. You could pretty much layer all of his review theme songs on top of each other. Kitty, what were you gonna say?
I have beef with Noguchi Kosaku in particular because he
You have beef.
he self-plagiarizes. Like, if you've seen AN Asami Jun version, there's a scene in it, there's like a sexy scene in it with an otokoyaku in a suit, and it's like a cabaret scene, and there's a girl who is an otokoyaku in like, actually wasn't an otokoyaku in that one, there's like an otokoyaku in like a stringy flapper dress.
Yeah.
Basically that exact scene is in Super Voyager, and it's Asami Jun again.
Wait, really?
In the dress
I need to go watch that. Wow.
But yeah,
Fuji Daisuke also self-plagiarizes.
I don't like Noguchi Kosaku
100%.
No, I love people who self-plagiarize. It's so much fun. It's like an Easter egg hunt.
This is the thing. A little bit, I just like Fuji Sensei reviews, and if he has a formula and it works, fine. Like, 90% of his reviews I love.
I do feel like Fuji... there's a few review directors I feel need to take a break for a few years because they've become more formulaic.
Yes, that's fair.
And Fuji is one of them, and Music Revolution guy, because I went back and watched Le Cheribangs, which is one of his very first reviews, and it's the one he did for Tom and Ohana. Well, I mean, Tom and Wow and Ohana over there. And it's like amazing and very, very creative and like state of the art for the time, and it kind of made me sad thinking about Music Revolution.
I just looked it up. It's
not
Nakamura
up to that
Kazunori.
standard.
Yeah, he's very formulaic.
Well, no, because he wasn't. For like Nakamura Kazunori, he's done so many of my favorite reviews from like 1997 to 2008. And then this modern stuff, I can kind of take or leave a bit.
Have you seen Dancing for You?
I have not seen that one.
It's Tani and Ume-chan. That's the first one that by the time I was at that point in fandom, I was like actively able to discriminate between different directors and their styles and stuff. And I like Dancing for You, but then I watch other Nakamura Kazunori Sensei reviews, and I'm like, yep, it's all just the same stuff. So I get what you're saying 100%.
Yeah, like his formula has become more bland, and I want him to like take a break and like go abroad for a few years or something.
On the other hand, it's like a romance novel.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's going to happen.
You'd read it anyway.
But if you enjoy the little parts, you're going to enjoy it anyway.
That's very true. And
some people who really like that,
that applies to all of Takarazuka.
Yeah, for sure.
What was I going to say? Fuji-sensei did Hamlet, you know? Every once in a while he's done a not review, and I would 100% what's the word? Approve of him taking a break and maybe doing some kind of trippy rock musical again, and then going back to reviews in a few years when he can shake up his formula.
Do Elizabeth.
Yeah, you get the feeling once they have seniority, they can pick whether they're going to be like focus on reviews or focus on musicals.
Yeah.
So you get the feeling that they do what they enjoy.
Right.
I want Ishida Masaya to do reviews again.
Ooh, yeah. Mostly when I think of Ishida Sensei, I think of plays. Yeah. What has he done, Kitty?
Well, because Ishida Masaya has done like one review, and it's Wonderland.
Okay.
And it's better than most of his recent plays.
I like story dances within reviews, even if the entire review doesn't have one cohesive theme. Viva Festa is like that, where it's like literally all story dances, and like maybe for some people that's too much, but for me I love it. Like it has the story dance where the top Musumeaku gets saved from the witches, and then it has, depending on which version you're watching, the tour or Viva Festa in Hakata has the one where like Makaze fights demons, and in the original one it's like Makun is a bullfighter, and then it has the Japanese dancing in the middle, like a upbeat Soran type of number, and then it goes into the people who have hope versus people who have what's the word, like not ambition but something, treachery, like hopeful people versus treacherous people, and they fight. It's always just the red versus blue kind of like, kind of somebody dies in the end, except in the Makaze version she just dances with a knife for a really long time and doesn't stab anybody. But yeah, there's like a bunch of story dances in a row, and honestly it's entertaining to me. I like it.
Yeah, I love those too. And I think that's maybe you put it in better words than I could. That was kind of what I was thinking of when I was thinking of like Blue Moon Blue and all the other ones. And yeah, it's like those story dances where it's, the Knight and the Dragon or whatever kind of thing it is.
Two people who used to be childhood friends and then they grew up to be rivals. That's another red versus blue. I'm thinking of I Love Chopin with Kashi and Tomu, and it's like really cute because Kacha, so sorry, that's my cat. Kacha and Chigi are like the kid versions, and then they grow up into Kashi and Tomu, and they fight. And they're literally red versus blue teams.
Yeah. So Kitty, we haven't heard from you for a while.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Any favorite themes?
Yeah, so I do like kind of a Parisian reference, as long as it's not like the whole show. Like, one of my favorite reviews ever is Enter the Revue by Sakai Sumio. And the Grand Theater staging of that opening version is opening number is so beautiful and elegant, with the way the lights go off into the distance is like amazing. So yeah, I could watch Enter the Revue forever, and it just has then it goes into like the perfect mix of like some more plotted dances and some more atmospheric ones. I can kind of take or leave the Broadway themed Chuzume, but some of that is because it got murdered by copyright every single time it was
tough.
recorded. And also it's got the number. Another thing I like, just because I like to see how the performers deal with it, is when they just shove the top star into a giant ball gown for the opening.
They don't do that anymore. I kind of wish they would.
Yeah, the last time I saw it was, I think,
Kaname.
Sante, maybe? I don't know. It happened in Sante later on in the show, but not in the opening. But yeah, like, in Enter the Revue, it's, like, the first time I watched Enter the Revue was, like, Matabuni's version, the tour one. And she sold it, but Osa's is so funny.
Osa loves being in a dress, I think.
She's but she's like not trying to be a girl. It's so funny.
Like a drag queen.
She's like, it's so cute because when she's talking, she's kind of pulling out the girly voice, but then she starts singing and she's like, no. But yeah, just the vibe is so funny and like, I just really love that kind of thing. And then another thing I really like that I don't know if it counts as an actual like type, but like whenever there's pirates in the review.
Have you seen Neo Voyage?
I have not yet. I keep meaning to. But yeah, like the stuff like it's not pirates, but Mizu's Moby Dick scene in Wonderland, and that one section of La Esmeralda, and like, cause Takarazuka doesn't do pirates enough.
No,
it's so weird.
Don't.
I don't know why they don't do it. It's like
a gold mine.
Pay to see that. But yeah, so we're just relying on the reviews to give us some of the good content.
That's very
Except
true.
for Daikaizoku, you know.
Daikaizoku.
Yeah, but
Great Pirates.
That kind of stuff.
Great Pirates wasn't super interesting to me, to be honest. Although I watched the Meat Chan version, not the Rika version.
You know what?
It grew on me, but it's kind of it's not for everybody. It grew on me because I specifically like that specific thing, and I like springing it on people without telling them how it ends.
Fair.
I'm gonna interrupt us for a minute because Kitty mentioned the Chuzume.
Yeah.
I think this might be a good point to talk.
Vocab.
And we've mentioned like this is so formulaic. Let's talk about what is the formula of a review show. What is the Chuzume? How do the intros go?
Yeah.
So interrupt if I miss something, but I'd say like a formulaic review show, they have either it starts small, but it gets big, like opening number tends to have everybody out on stage at some point. Maybe not when the curtain comes up, but by the end of that first number, everybody's on stage. Would you say that sounds...
Yep. I would say most reviews start with that pa, where everybody's on stage. Or, like you said, it starts out with like sort of a prologue, and then bam, the curtain's open and everybody's there. Yeah.
And then they'll have their numbers, blah, 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 blah. Then you got your Chuzume, which people say it tends to be in the middle, but I would say it's usually like more like 3/4 of the way through.
I guess you could time it and find out. But basically what it seems like to me is if you have the opening number, there's something right afterward that's usually like the top star singing or the Nibante singing or whatever. And then two numbers and then the Chuzume. That's, I think, a standard formula. And Chuzume literally means like squashed in the middle or... Tsumeru means to like stuff something in, right? So it's like kind of everyone's stuffed on the stage again in the middle.
I'm kind of thinking of like you'll have a show and it'll have kind of like a quiet number or like a really sad, depressing number. Like maybe somebody dies on stage and then you
Chuzume.
Bam. The Chuzume is like the next number that has like everybody in the show. It's not always the theme song, but sometimes it is the theme song.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody dancing, people will be on the Ginkyo, the Silver Bridge.
It's the time to pump everybody up again.
People will be in the audience. Yeah.
Yep. And it usually ends with everybody out on the Ginkyo, which is that bridge, the Silver Bridge. And sometimes what happens is like they do the big pump up number and then some people leave to get ready for the next number and then like the rest of the people on the Ginkyo like do a one more time sort of thing where they pump you up one more time and then leave. Yeah.
Yeah. And then some more numbers, and then usually you start getting into your finale, which is usually, what would you say? Like the Musumeyaku will have a dance or a song number, the Rockettes, the top star with 2 or 3 of the high-level musumeyaku doing a dance or a song number, pair dance.
And the otokoyaku dance.
Otokoyaku dance.
And then the parade.
And usually, on the Silver Bridge and then on the Grand Staircase. Usually by the time you're halfway through the finale.
Good point.
They're doing everything on the Grand Staircase.
Yes. When you say finale, I think usually you put the curtain down, you have all the Rockettes dance, and that's when they're rolling out the Grand Staircase. And then the curtains open.
Yeah, how long? I've heard the number on how long it takes the Grand Staircase to deploy.
5 minutes?
But I don't remember it. It's like 90 seconds or something.
Oh, wow. That's fast.
Yeah, it's super fast. I think it's one of the fastest in Japan, if not the world.
There's some reviews, like Hot Eyes, where kind of one of the gimmicks is that the Grand Staircase is out the entire time. I love Hot Eyes.
Yeah. Honestly, I love the concept of Hot Eyes, but I cannot physically watch it because they put too many flashing lights on the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Hot Eyes.
So there was when Hot Eyes came out, for 6 months, everybody just watched Hot Eyes. And it's okay.
That's so sad.
But there are some scenes with Hot Eyes that I really like that one, what was it? The kind of dark nightclub scene with Ma and Yurika in suits. That one was really good with the hats.
Yes. And Urara is their matchmaker. She's like, "Hey guys, don't fight. Why don't you just dance with each other instead?" And then they make out. It's great. I brought up Hot Eyes because of the Grand Staircase. Yeah, so it's Rocket, the line dance, they bring out the Grand Staircase, Jen, like you were saying, the top otokoyaku dances with a bunch of musumeyaku, the otokoyaku do a dance, they do the pair dance, and then parade, I would say, is usually the standard order of things.
Yeah, and then, obviously, outside of Grand Tour, they'll strip this down, because they have less people.
Right.
But usually they do about the same thing. It's just
smaller.
Yeah, and they only have 6 steps on the stairs.
Right. You can always tell when it's a tour versus a grand theater because of the size of the stairs.
Let's talk shanshan.
Let's do.
Do you guys have a favorite shanshan from a
Sora
review?
Fantasista.
Oh man,
because it looks like a globe, like a planet, And it's shiny.
Honestly,
How would you describe a shanshan?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Kitty.
A shanshan is literally anything they hold in their hand as they walk down the staircase.
I really like the Eclair Brilliant shanshans. One thing with reviews is that so many reviews have a coherent theme until the parade, and then it's just listen, we found these 80 dresses in the garage, okay. But Eclair Brilliant keeps its aesthetic all the way through the finale and parade, and it doesn't break its opening color scheme with its ending color scheme. And so the finale was really nice, and the parade was nice, and I really liked the shanshan. I don't quite remember what it looked like because I was in a high state of emotion as it was very late at night and we were crying over Benny retiring. But it was really, really nice. I remember it lit up. And then I do love the Gato Bonito cat toys.
Good.
Because of how stupid they are and just committed to the aesthetic.
To it. They said cats and they delivered cats.
They're so funny.
Shanshan can be everything from a tambourine to a candle to a feather fan to a fan with roses on it to a circle thing with some logo from the theme of the review. Shanshan are usually a circular object, with decoration on it.
Shield almost, yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes they'll do the more jingle stick styled shanshans where it's 2 things. Those are, I think, They're not super common, but you're more likely to see them in Latin reviews.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like a little baton with like 4 bells on it, and they shake it as they walk down.
Yeah, they use them in the Rose of Versailles prologue, like, every time. But yeah, I don't know if I've seen a review that used them in the finale with jingle bells on them. But it's like the same,
I for sure have.
Hand choreo either way. Like,
yeah.
The La Esmeralda ones were kind of weird, honestly. They were like eyeballs.
Wait, what was eyeballs?
It's interesting though, because
I'm sure that was not the intent, but the La Esmeralda shanshans do look like eyeballs.
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of that as well, where there's kind of like a misreading of the eye, even though it's clear that they intended it to be something else. I'm like, all I see is a femur bone or something on the on the shanshan.
It's like a Rorschach test.
Right, a Rorschach test. Very true.
A lot of them tend to have those ribbons too, and so you're always using 2 hands. Even if you're holding the shield in one hand, you'll have the end of the ribbon in the other. Or if they do the little fans, do they tend to have 2 fans, or is it just
no?
one?
It's usually just one fan.
I think it's just
so that might be one of the few times there's just one hand and one empty. But there's like the hand motions tend to be the same no matter what they're holding.
As if they're holding a ribbon in their hand.
Yeah. So interesting.
Does Song for Kingdoms have bells at the end? It's making me crazy that I can't think of what.
I don't. Which
remember. One has shanshan with bells? Anyway, I'll think of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've gone all around and around in a very unorganized manner.
May I proffer one question as we're vaguely working towards the end? Just because I think this would be very fun.
Yes.
What Western song do you want Takarazuka to use in a review next?
Goodness.
If licensing was no issue.
Uptown Funk.
Western song? Like a country song? Or like a song
Western as in from Western culture.
Yeah. Yeah, Western as in non-Asian pop.
Right.
Because they do buy from Korea regularly.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen them do C-pop.
Yeah, if they did...
But I think it's coming.
If they did, I'm not familiar with C-pop anyway, so I couldn't say.
They might have done some C-pop
overseas
when they go on tour in China.
Anyway, I immediately said Uptown Funk only because I was just rewatching Kazuki Sora's Brilliant Dreams where they danced to Uptown Funk, so that's just, like you said, if licensing were no object, just pick any song out of the ether, sure.
Yeah. I think Masama would have gone for that.
100. Oh, you know what?
She talks about liking stuff like that.
Speaking of Masama, Seiko in the Ace Motion, it's written A Motion, but it's pronounced Ace Motion. Don't ask me why. Seiko sang Skater Boy, and they cut the music, and I'm mad forever.
I was there live. It's the best thing to ever happen.
Can you just upload it into my brain?
I'm sorry. if we lived on Sapike.
It's so unfair. I would love that. Yeah. And literally any, like, NSYNC, terrible 90s boy band stuff, like Backstreet Boys. I would love that.
See, I feel like we get a lot of that for the year-end shows that they do. Like, the specials, they do a lot of those kind of pop songs, but they get cut on the, promotional releases. But I guess they probably haven't done those as much recently, but I'm thinking of, like, in the 80s and 90s, they did a lot of, like, 80s and 90s pop songs. I'm thinking of, like, they did, like, Unchained Melody and, like, all these other things. Yeah.
There's some great stuff that they have had in reviews, though. Like, was it Aquavite where Kiki sings When a Man Loves a Woman, and I could not stop laughing.
Yeah, I think that must be it, yeah.
It's a great song to pair dance to if you don't have the, like, American or Western influence of having heard it 6 billion times. Yeah, her singing When a Man Loves a Woman is hilarious.
I don't hardly know any American music, so whenever I'm watching a review and I hear, like, a song with a certain vibe, I'm like, asking whoever I'm watching with, so is this a song, or is this just Takarazuka?
Totally. No, there was one I was watching recently. Like, yeah. Go ahead,
I feel
Jen.
like the last 10 years, we've been getting all these review shows without any cuts on the Blu-rays and the DVDs, and I think it's because they've stopped using pop and rock music from America.
They've been more cautious. Like, when they restaged Crystal, I think they took out the Coldplay, and I'm like,
the cowards.
Yeah.
I literally had
of, like,
no idea.
You know, it used to be, like, a top star would retire, and their review show would just be a cut-up mess when it was released on VHS or DVD because half the songs would be something that they couldn't get the rights to. You just don't see that anymore.
Soragumi Phantom is a freaking travesty because they used Gershwin music for the finale, and then they cut all of it. And
and it's such a weird choice for a Phantom finale too.
I think because they were thinking opera because of
but because the numbers that survived were from opera.
Yeah.
I guess Porgy and Bess is an opera,
and Bess. But
just, on the other hand,
it's
not an opera that
it's not really the kind of thing you think of when you think of opera.
Yeah.
But I think...
Well, it's like, wasn't Toko's final... I think that was like the final straw, I think, for a lot of people when they released Toko's final review show. Wasn't that one, like, completely...
Yeah, I think that one had a lot of cuts as well.
Yeah, tragic. And people were just like, what the hell?
Yeah. I thought I had a spark of a thought as we were talking about this, and something about, like, Kitty, when you said what kind of pop songs. Oh, I remember. I can only think somehow of wishes that did come true, or things you didn't even know you wish you could see until you saw them. Did you guys know that in Kazuki Sora's 2018 Bow Hall Hustlemates, she does an 8-minute dance to Bohemian Rhapsody?
What?
That's awesome. They've done Bohemian Rhapsody before.
Time to watch that.
So it's incredible in the most hilarious and actually emotional way you could possibly imagine. You know, where you like something is really funny at first, and then the more you watch it, you're like, oh wait, I'm actually into this. You know, they actually try to make it into a story like Mama, I Killed a Man, and it's like a soldier, and there's a bunch of shoulders dancing, and Aoi is off to the side being the mom, reading a letter from her son, and it's a whole thing, you guys. It's a whole thing.
Wow.
Wow. If you have access to our Sky Stage recording of Hustlemates, please enjoy. And please enjoy the kid that I like the most right now, Takato Chiaki, screaming, "So you think you can love me and spit in my eye." It's really funny. It's really good, you guys.
That's amazing. Amazing. How about you, Kitty? What
pop songs
would you put in there?
Okay, so I think about this regularly and have actually outlined an entire review that is mostly internet meme songs. But what I most want out of it to become real is a Otokoyaku stare uniform dance to the Black Parade.
Black Parade.
Which honestly would be both musically and aesthetically perfect.
Oh, sign me up. I was a little skeptical, and then you said Black Parade, and you've got me. That sounds amazing.
I guess I'm out of the cultural loop on this one.
Yeah, I have a slight My Chemical Romance obsession.
Oh, My Chemical... That one missed me completely.
Could make an entire My Chemical Romance review, and it would be very weird, but amazing.
Yeah. I was not into the emo scene in, like, my high school days. My Chemical Romance and all that. My freaking niece listens to My Chemical Romance now, which is so weird to me. Anyway.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But that and, like, just... For the fun of it, Despacito. I think. Like, I'm sure Fuji Daisuke has it in his notes somewhere. Like, I'm gonna talk them into it one day.
Honey Honey was in not Rock On, the one before that. Rio de Bravo. Yukigumi...
Oh, I need to watch that.
Yukigumi Rio de Bravo. It's cut from the DVD, but in the Sky Stage version, you can hear Mika-chan singing Honey Honey. It's very cute.
Oh, Mika!
Yes, I love it.
Sorry.
It's this really cute number where she's like in a shopping center and like going around with her little shopping cart and singing Honey Honey looking for love or something. It's super cute. I love it so much.
Have they must have done Britney Spears. Have they? Maybe it's too expensive for them.
Oh,
I'm just thinking like Toxic would be hilarious. I'd love to see it for Toxic.
I think so amazing.
I think because Britney Spears is a unique situation right now. Later,
right,
because of Britney Spears' own legal situation, maybe it would be very hard for them to go for
back
it.
when she was popular, you know,
20
years ago.
I don't know. They've done, because Greatest Hits has a Madonna number.
Have they done Lady Gaga?
They've never done Lady Gaga, no.
Oh my gosh, there's another one. You know,
that's another one that would be like perfect.
Yeah. See, it's almost it's been like 20 years now, so all those like early 2000 songs need to start rolling in. I'll wait for them.
Japan is always 10 to 20 years behind anyway, so
yeah, the kind of music, especially Takarazuka grabs, tends to be a bit out of date. Like the K-pop songs in Viva Festa is like a K-pop song, and it's like
I don't remember which group it is.
It's Infinite, who has not been popular in 2017. Like, they're way out of date in terms of it. Yeah. But like on the other hand, I don't like recent K-pop as much, so I would rather they go for like Infinite, Shiny, those ones.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, fair enough. We haven't talked about one of the biggest things ever, which is otakoyaku dances, staircase dances.
Yes.
One of my favorite of all time would be Rose of Versailles 2001. Soragumi, big ol'.
I don't remember that.
What's the one? Da na 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 na. Is it Takarazuka Forever? What's that song called?
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
Da, 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 da.
That's a Rose of Versailles specific song that I forget the name. I can't
for the life of me think of it. But yeah, they do a really magnificent. One of my favorite things ever is just black tailcoats, guys. Not even.
Yeah.
When I say guys, I don't mean you guys. I mean Hankyu. Listen from my mouth to your ears. Just put them in black tailcoats. You don't need sparkles. Right, so you don't need extra flim flam.
Can we just say Hayama Kiyomi then? Because
Hayama Sensei all the way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that what I'm talking about is her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. As soon as you said it, I'm thinking of like, if you haven't seen Golden Steps, guys, which they did in, was it 2005 or 2006?
No.
5, I think.
2005.
Yeah, and it was like her 30 years in the working for Takarazuka, and it was like all her best dance numbers. So I think it was a lot of the stuff from the Rose of Versailles.
Actually, I think that staircase dance is literally the tuxedo dance that they do in that one. Is that one from Rose of Versailles?
Yeah. I love the one from, oh my gosh. I'm having a brain blank. Give me a minute.
Okay. I'll mention another one.
Yeah, go for it.
It's tuxedos, but they have rolled up sleeves, which is also a huge weakness of mine. In Funky Sunshine. Love that.
Oh, I need to watch Funky Sunshine
I love Funky Sunshine.
Bad.
I will show it to you any time of the week.
Once I watch Funky Sunshine, it's like the last happy Yuhi thing available to me.
Yeah.
Got it.
She doesn't do any happy stuff.
And I think it's Ishida Sensei?
Might be.
Maybe.
So,
but yeah, I really liked the Eclair Brilliant Otakoyaku dance. It was really good. Especially because it was following a lot of other really hard choreo. Like, I genuinely do feel Sakai Sumio may have gone into Eclair Brilliant feeling it may be his last show. Because I did the math. He's probably around 85 at least at a low estimate.
Yeah. Some of the guys, especially our like composers, are getting into their like
old.
They're getting up there.
Time for some fresh blood, guys.
Like, because I'm not. I just want somebody who can do the same style as Sakai Sumio, or that sort of sleek classic style. I find Okada Keiji a little saccharine, although I did like Romance. The Choosing of Romance is but the rest of it is real cute. But yeah, just like somebody who can still do that,
but better.
I don't know if anybody can top Sakai Sumio. Just somebody who can keep doing things in a similar line.
I don't know.
I get what you mean about like the classic style, but I find, as you said, I find Okada-sensei to be very saccharine. All of the pastels and big hats and flower bouquets. In Citrus Breeze and Amour Sorewa and I'm sure there's so many more I could name. Although, on the flip side, Okada-sensei, I believe, did Asian Winds, which I love. Love Asian Winds.
Oh, I need to
But
watch
it's not, it doesn't have that style, because it's all Asian-y stuff. It's like, it's sort of like an Asian fusion of visiting Chinese culture stuff and Korean and South Asia and all these different things. I love Asian Winds.
Outside of his comfort zone, but made a good thing. I feel like my favorite is actually not from a review show. It's from A Map Without Borders, which was one of those didn't have a review show. Like, that's my favorite Otokoyaku dance. And I think that's another one of
we were talking about Otokoyaku
Hayama
dance.
Kiyomi's. Yeah. And I think, am I remembering it right? Is it the one from LL Khan? No, it couldn't have been, because LL Khan had Revue Orchis.
Right, Revue Orchis was the review.
Maybe it was in there. Was that the one where the Otokoyaku dance, they had the swords?
Unfortunately, I don't remember. No, Scarlet Pimpernel.
Are you thinking of Scarlet Pimpernel?
That's it. I knew it was one of Toko's show. That's the other one I love. Yeah. So that's one that's not in a black tuxedo, but I love that one.
True facts. And I mean, we have to talk about Elizabeth. One of the most iconic Otokoyaku dances of all time.
Yes, this is true. This is very true.
And
for some
they
reason,
pretty much
for me,
always
like, the
keep
pair
it...
dance sticks in my mind more than the Otokoyaku dance, even though it's so beautiful.
It's funny because Elizabeth, they keep the Otokoyaku dance pretty much exactly the same. They just change the costumes, but the pair dance, they always mix it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love that Otokoyaku dance. I could watch it a million times.
It is beautiful.
Kitty, do you not like it?
Sorry, I was moving my computer.
Yeah.
I do like it. I think it's maybe not my favorite, but it is very good.
Yeah. Well, let's.
I know it's hard to say what would be my favorite.
Mull on that if you think about it. Let's talk about pair dances so that we can kind of start to wrap this up. One of my favorite pair dances is going to be Viva Festa, Mirion's Retirement, where they dance to The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. And Ma-kun does a beautiful lift, and it's gorgeous. And, you know, she's in a black tuxedo, Mirion's in a white dress. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really good.
A good one.
I feel like
I saw it a lot. While crying.
Yes. I'm sure that would have been me as well. I like, although I do like pair dances, I also like triple pair dances where they have 3 couples on stage. Specifically, I'm thinking of like the original Exciter and Funky Sunshine again has a triple pair dance.
I'm feeling like any show that Asaji Saki did that had a pair dance is like my favorite, because she was just one of those Otokoyaku who could like lift up their Musumeyaku partner and keep her in the air forever. Like,
lift with several underlines underneath it.
Yes,
100%.
And it sticks in my mind, I think, because it was just one of the first shows that I saw so many times is Saiko and Asako and Elizabeth, the first Moon Troop Elizabeth. Yeah. Which I know a lot of people don't like because they're like, oh, they didn't have any chemistry, but I just thought they were so cute together. And I loved the wig that Asako was wearing, particularly on that day for the recording. Yeah.
Although, is it a wig or just her hair?
Oh, you know what, I think she had wigs, like she wore different wigs on different days, but I think recording day was just her hair. Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah. I remember the look. But I don't exactly remember the choreography of the dance.
It's just a cute one.
Kitty, what about you?
Yes, I'm trying to think about okay, so the thing is, with pair dances, I watch a lot of the front halves of reviews because I tend to watch them while we're waiting to watch something else.
That's really funny.
So now I'm trying to remember what pair dances go with what shows.
Fair.
The one thing about the one failing of 80s reviews is that the pair dances are often a little weird because the costumes are so large. So this has happened with Mori Keyaki like a few times, where the 80s shoulders are so big, you can kind of tell maybe the choreo that was originally planned once they had the costumes on did not work.
Oh, awkward.
Like, because there's the one.
God, why
there's
would
an
you
amazing.
do this? Like,
there's an amazing pair dance in This Love Beyond the Cloudy Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
But some of it is like Murasaki Tomo coming up against Mori's back, and you can't see her at all because of the shoulders.
No.
So this is my one complaint about 80s reviews, the one way in which they betray me.
Yeah.
I think I really liked the Miroir pair dance, but I'm having trouble remembering it.
Yeah.
A lot of the pair dances I can think of are for 2-act shows and not reviews because they're the ones where I actually tend to watch the finale.
Yeah, tell us anyway.
But yeah, the Po Clan pair dance is incredible. And then the Rose of Versailles 2012.
I was just about to say.
Not the actual Top Combi pair dance.
The Fairs and Oscar pair dance?
Which is cute, but the Oscar Andre pair dance in the 2012 Oscar and Andre is amazing.
Okay. I should watch that.
Yeah, I really like it, yeah. But yeah, I mean, all of the Rose of Versailles dances are. Yeah,
I mean, I was just about to say Fairs and Oscar pair dance is pretty iconic.
Yeah, that one's like famous. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there was one more that
I've trouble remembering because I've watched a lot of reviews, but I tend to watch them rather randomly.
Yeah, that's
so
totally
it's
valid.
not often that I sit down and watch a review straight through.
Yeah. Some are like that.
It's like I have spent a lot of time making other people watch the circus scenes from Enter the Revue.
Just that specifically. Valid.
Well, the circus scene and especially the cat girls scene.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I was gonna say
I've watched all 3 recordings and ranked them in order of intensity.
Yes.
I think it's Editon, Judy, and then the Grand Theater Girl. Or no, wait, which one was it Judy and Grand Theater then? I mixed them up because
it was Marrakesh Enter the Revue, right? So that was Judy's last Grand Theater.
Yeah, so it would have been Editon, Judy, and then the girl in Hakata. Yeah, that's the. Yeah, because I mixed up which one Judy was not in.
Right, gotcha.
I don't remember the name of the girl who did it in Hakata because she's like a rather side Otsukoyaku. When they first reshuffled Enter the Revue for Hakata, they had some trouble because of the scene order and like the rankings and where they could deploy Yumiko because she had already been in one scene and couldn't come right back.
Right, I gotcha.
Because I really wanted Yumiko to do that scene, but I think logistically they couldn't get her out there in time because she was in the earlier circus scene.
Yeah, it's funny watching...
Sorry, I just love Enter the Revue.
You're allowed. It's funny watching Viva Festa Grand Theater versus Viva Festa in Hakata. Speaking of Hakata, the way that they kept some people and they like switched around who was in what number so that Makaze could still be the guy with the knife at the end or whatever. But then to some degree they changed it where like Ai-chan did the boy band number in the Grand Theater and then Sora led the boy band number in the Hakata version. What are you gonna say?
Honestly, I feel like Hakata is a really nice venue for reviews because it's large enough you can get pretty much the full-size sets in there. And but it's also an outside theater, so the audience is really excited and you go in the audience more and everybody's really, really hyped.
I was just going to say my heart has such good memories of Hakataza because that's where Yuhi's debut was, where Aris-chan got to be really adult, sexy Niban Musumeaku. Both halves of that show were so wonderful. That's Legend of Oayama and Appassionato 2. Yeah. And I have such warm memories. I have such happy memories of seeing that show.
I really would love to, if I get the money to travel and days off in Japan, I would love to chase the review down to Hakata sometime.
Absolutely. Oh, and like I was saying, they can fit a pretty decent staircase in there because Yuhi does that iconic thing with the humongous cape on herself at the beginning of Appassionato, which is like, it's not like you said a 6-step staircase. It's like, I don't know, 20-something steps.
Yeah, it's almost full size.
Yeah.
If it's not full size, it's very close.
All right, we're gonna try to wrap this up. Jen, do you have any final thoughts?
Just want to say, if you haven't seen any of Saito Yoshimasa's review shows, they're worth checking out. They're kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. He's a fun time.
For some reason, my brain instantly is going to his plays, though, El Alcon and Trafalgar and things like that. Tell me, off the top of your head, a Saito-sensei review.
Blue Moon Blue.
Killer Rouge is him.
Oh, Killer Rouge, yeah.
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 I think he also did Kirian's final review show, Misty Station. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he doesn't do reviews as much, but he's good at it.
He did Ace Motion, so it's not a review, so to speak, but it's Makun's concert. So he did Ace Motion and he did Love and Dream, which are more like concerts, but they're both excellent.
Yeah, Love and Dream is amazingly well styled.
Love it. It has a good flow. But yeah, we've had a good talk, even though it went very kind of piecemeal all over the place, but somehow we sort of got to, it's sort of like a review itself, right?
Yes.
Where it's all over the place, but most of them tend to have like a finale that follows a certain order. So we did it, we did it. Good job.
Woohoo!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's just wrap it there. Thank you two for chatting, and even though Kate had to drop, thank you, Kate, for participating as well. Everyone who's listening, please tell us, what are your favorite reviews? What are your favorite scenes in reviews? Yeah. What styles do you like? What styles do you not like? What do you think about Ruffle Hell? Yeah, chime in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Stan Sakai Sumio.
Many thanks to Michael B. and the Arcanum String Quartet for their wonderful arrangement of Sumire no Hana Sakugoro. And thank you, listeners, for enjoying our podcast.